Good afternoon, everyone. I am going to be playing some Nuclear Throne for a bit. Going to do the daily run, and then after a while, going to play some Binding of Isaac. Going to try to get to those elusive 999 coins to get that stopwatch finally, and then maybe do some stuff with the Lost. Before we do our daily challenge, though, I'm going to have a few practice runs with Nuclear Throne. So here we go. Let's start things off with, as usual, my favorite boy, steroids. Haven't streamed in a couple days. Had to go out of town to do a few things. Nothing too important. Just pick up someone I knew out of town. It's nice to be able to get out of town. Haven't been out in a while, so it's nice just to be able to get out there and hit the road for a bit, do some driving. Funny thing about me, I am in my 30s, and I only got my license maybe 3 years ago, and I've only got my first car last year. Within the last year, I'll have had my first car now for a year in July, which is very exciting for me. If you're a young person and you don't have your license yet, I would recommend getting at least a license, even if you can't afford a car. I know it can be tough if you don't live with someone who drives regularly, because a lot of places now have the graduated licensing system, and you do have to spend about a year on the road under the tutelage of someone else to get your license. Of course, there's always different classes and stuff you can take to reduce that time. But yeah, it is a pain in the ass, and the longer you take to get your license, the harder it is to kind of get into it and get your license and to move on. Also, if you can get a crappy car when you're younger, I kind of learned this the hard way. It's probably a good idea because, yeah, I picked up my first car last year, and the car itself wasn't so bad, the pricing and stuff like that. But what's really killing me, even though I'm in my 30s, is the insurance. If you're a male, get insurance on your first vehicle. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Hopefully, my rates will go down this year. But yeah, the first year is pretty rough. So we are playing, as usual, steroids to start things off. Love steroids, love the dual wielding. There's probably other characters who might be better suited to my play style, but I don't really give the other characters a chance, to be honest, and I know that is unfair. So if anyone's watching, let me know who you like to play for these daily runs. Do you have a preference? Do you like chicken? Do you like fish? We all know that fish can roll. Who else? There's Robot. You know, who's a good candidate for those daily runs to kind of get you the best rankings? I had my best daily challenge a couple days ago, actually off air, when I placed in the top, I think, 30th percent. I was having a real good run. Everything was going smoothly, and I was really quite happy with my performance. Alright, so we will have impact risks. Get those corpses flying around a little bit. So yeah, here we are playing the daily challenge at the tail end of the weekend. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. And if you had to work the weekend, I know that kind of sucks. I have to work pretty much every third weekend for my job, and can kind of put a damper on things. For sure, damper on the social life. Can't go out Friday night. Well, you could go out Friday night, but sometimes it's just not worth it. All right, we got the wrench, so we're going to... No, this is going to end in tears for me. Not having a good set of runs so far. I haven't even made it to the sewers yet, so I'm really glad I'm doing a few warm-up runs before I try the daily challenge. Starting off in kind of wide open areas, which isn't great. It can really put you in a bind, especially with the scorpions and their, as I've complained about before, the unlimited range on their kind of tail attack. Makes things a lot harder. Do you guys have a strategy for outrunning those? If you do, I'd like to know it. And of course, you probably noticed that I'm not playing with the sound on again, and you notice that my mic is a piece of crap. Just playing with the standard mic on my laptop. I do have a wireless headset that I thought would be good for this. I dug it out after a couple of years, and turns out I can only use it on my PlayStation, which isn't very good for streaming on PC. So I will have to see if I can get something, some sort of USB mic, if I plan to do this long term. But for me, this is just kind of a fun thing to do on a Saturday, a slow afternoon. And hopefully you guys find some of this commentary and gameplay at least a little bit entertaining. Let's go long range. Let's go Eagle Eye. Just trying to pick a few different mutations than what I normally pick, just to try to vary things up a little bit. Maybe those mutations will work better with my play style of kind of running and gunning with the dual wielding weapons of steroids. Come on. Ooh, those health kits are a big pickup. Also, if you have any suggestions on how I can improve the Twitch channel, I am open to them. You can follow me on Twitter. It's Daily Satire. And as I always say, my posts are neither usually daily nor satire. I chose that name because of an ill-conceived webcomic thing that I tried to do with my face. Don't ask about it. If you go back through my Twitter history, you'll probably see it. And it's like very local stuff, so you probably wouldn't get most of the humor anyway. Sounds kind of pretentious. You wouldn't get the humor because it's like a local thing, and no, it's not that. It's just some local politics about where I live. Not very interesting to outsiders, I would say. Alright, kill these rats. So I think after this run, this has been my best run so far. I will attempt the daily with, of course, steroids again, and probably do a few more runs after, just to fill out some time. Then probably boot up the old Binding of Isaac, get that underway, so I can start building up towards 999 coins to get that stopwatch item for the store. I'm open to suggestions as well on what other types of games I might be able to play on the stream. If you got any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Budget for gaming, a little bit tight right now, but that might open up over the next couple of months. I'm not really looking to make a career out of this. I lied about doing the daily run because I automatically restarted, so we'll do it after this one. Yeah, not really looking to do a career out of these Twitch broadcasts, just looking to have some fun thus far. And yeah, it is fun. It's kind of cool just to do a stream of consciousness type thing, talk to you guys, see how you're doing. And I know that there's a ton of other different channels, so as the airlines like to say, you have a choice, and thank you for choosing us today. Has anyone worked a minimum wage service job? I know a few people probably have. I was thinking today, I went to a coffee shop that I actually used to work at, and of course ordered some coffee and some chili for myself and another person, and I asked the lady at the window for a tray to carry the coffee, because carrying the coffee as well as the chili and the bread and all that stuff, a bit of a handful. And anyway, I asked her for a tray, and I felt like I ruined this poor lady's day. Like she was in a bit of a tiff, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was the fact that I didn't order this tray earlier in the process or what. Like, I've actually done her job. I've worked that window at that same coffee shop in that very same location. And my standard operating procedure for that is basically, if you ordered more than one coffee, I would ask if you needed a tray or not. Because, yeah, sometimes they're hot. Sometimes they're hard to carry. You know, you don't want people burning their hands. You want people to have a great experience. Now, I don't work in the service industry now, but you know, a little bit of customer service goes a long way, and I don't mean to really complain about the poor girl. Maybe she was having a long day. Everyone has one of those. Let's go recycled land. yeah, so I managed to get to the sewers now in a couple runs, so things going a little bit better than they were earlier in the stream. So, like I said, if I don't accidentally hit the restart button, we will do the daily run after this. How have you placed on the daily runs? I'd like to know. Are you getting like the top 5-10%, or you're like me? Are you down into at the best the 30s, the 80s? I've had a few 80% stats, which I'm not really happy about, but it's part of the game, part of the nature of the game. You know, it's a frantic shooter and laser pistol. Oh my goodness! All right, gotta try to kill this rat and pick it. Oh, I thought he was dead. All right, so we want to go back to the menu and we will pick our daily run, and we will pick steroids for that. All right, let's see how we do on the daily run today. Get things underway. All right, what is our first weapon? That's not the weapon chest. Maybe I should know that before I start doing streams. Anyway, here we are. We'll learn through experimentation, and that's it. That works for me. Might work for you, but it works for me. I'm just here to have some fun, play some video games, do some talking. No, I want those rats. Yes. Save. Grenade launcher. Don't really want to do that with the way I'm playing. I'm just kind of spamming both mouse buttons right now, which is it's probably a terrible idea. I'm probably running through a lot of ammunition right now. And a lot of these worm things, sandworms. Remember Beetlejuice? Sandworms. You know, Michael Keaton. He was Batman, then he was Beetlejuice. Like that. That's a bit of a range for an actor. I like Michael Keaton as a good actor. A lot of people like that Birdman movie that came out earlier in the year. Got some Oscar nods. I wasn't really a big fan. It's to me it was one of those movies which is kind of about Hollywood for Hollywood type people. You know, I guess maybe if you're in showbiz, you're a bit of an artiste, it might have appealed more to you. But that wasn't really a huge fan. I am not doing great here. I'm not doing great. Yeah. There's the daily run for the day. So let's see how we placed. Yeah, 1800. So probably didn't do a great one for that. So daily run's over. Let's do a couple runs with chicken, and then afterwards we will switch over to the Binding of Isaac. I'm really excited about Afterbirth. Can't wait till that's out. Of course, I should probably try to get Platinum God for Rebirth before I worry about DLC, but maybe that is outside my skill set. I don't play it enough really to get really terrific at it. More of a casual player. Oh, missed out on some rads there, and I missed out on a mutation, I think. So probably not off to the best start. Okay. Great thing about melee weapons in this game is you can deflect bullets and you can kind of chop through energy weapons, which gives you a bit of a advantage. And of course with the chicken you can slow down time and kind of give yourself a bit of a chance to think through what's going on. This really sucks. Yeah, I'd like to be able to back away from some of those shots and to have them dissipate a little bit. Maybe I'm just being like a little whiny bitch, but that would make things more fun for me. Sometimes having fun with a game is being able to win. I'm going to try a run with Melting. Melting's, of course, special ability is to make corpses explode, which can be useful. Of course, the big adjustment for me playing with anyone besides steroids is trying to use the right mouse button effectively. So I'm not trying to spam two different weapons or try to fire off my second weapon when I don't have it equipped. Let's go Plutonium Hunger. Of course, if you're not familiar with the game, Plutonium Hunger lets you attract rads from a fairer distance away, so it's easier to get mutations in the long run. And of course, with the revolver, like with steroids, you can basically hold down the mouse buttons and spam bullets, but with a revolver for anyone else, you gotta do some clicking. Fish can roll. Here we go. How's everyone's spring? It's been, I think my last few streams have been on nice days. It's been kind of wet here the last few days. Of course, I live in Canada, fairly northernly, and we've had a lot of snow over the course of the winter, and that is it's finally starting to go. And the good thing about the rain is that, sorry, I'm not talking so much, I'm trying to concentrate a little bit, is that it will cut down on the snow pretty good. So everything that was plowed up kind of off the streets, that's about the only thing that's left around for snow, and some snow as well in the woods, wooded areas. Ooh, this isn't going well for me. I shouldn't have gone down there. Let's switch to the grenade launcher. So really looking for a health kit right now to try to make a go out of this run. Maybe. Call me baby, health kit. Little Carly Rae Jepsen. It's not that I mind the snow either. You know, if you're Canadian, you kind of got to get used to the idea that's going to snow. But yeah, I prefer spring and summer. You know, people. I live in the kind of place where no matter what the weather is, people's going to complain about it. It's either too cold or it's too hot, or I don't know, it's too wet, it's too dry. So you can't really win by talking with anybody about the weather where I live. I kind of I like spring and I like fall. You know, it isn't too hot and it isn't too cold, and you can get out and do various things. What I'm really looking forward to this summer is to get back into hiking. I used to do a lot of hiking in this area about 5 or 6 years ago, and then I joined the military. So I was away in the military for 4 years. I did a 4-year term in the Canadian Navy, and I kind of fell out of the hiking groove. I've been back for about 3 or 4 years now, and I haven't really done much with the trails in the area because compared to where I lived in town before, I live a fair distance away from those trails now. Before, I lived really close to the entrance of the trails, but now that I have a car, I know this is almost counterintuitive. It's like, well, why don't you just walk to the trails? But now that I have a car, I can walk to the entrance of the trails and then kind of enjoy hiking in the woods. And that's why I don't really walk to the trails. I prefer hiking, you know, in a wooded area on a path, not so much out on the street or on the sidewalk. Rabbit paw. And now that I have the car as well, you know, that opens up various parks, you know, provincial, national parks around where I live. I can visit those, you know, do a day trip, pack a lunch, and, you know, check out nature's beauty, so to speak. You know, if you're not really an outdoorsy person, but you live in a rural area like me, you know, I recommend like taking in some trails and stuff. It won't kill you, you know. As always, you know, maybe it would kill you. I don't know, you know, ask your doctor. But, you know, it's a big, beautiful world out there. Get out and see it. Or you can just stay inside and watch some guy play video games. I'm going to start whacking people with a shovel. And that didn't work. Okay, I think I'm going to switch over to the Binding of Isaac. So just give me a couple of seconds. Get Steam on the go. Alright, Binding of Isaac. You might hear Rebirth start up because they have that narrated intro. There we go. And I need to switch my window properties to the Binding of Isaac Rebirth. There we go. And I will shut down Nuclear Throne. Yeah, my laptop isn't in the greatest condition right now. The fan on it is gone, so I'm basically running with one of those fans that you stick under your laptop. Let me really roll that. Yum heart, not too better. So, yeah, you might hear some grinding. That is my laptop fans trying to do a little bit of work, trying to keep the computer from melting. Hopefully, one of these days I will pick up a new system, but it's serving the purpose for now. The games I play right now are pretty lo-fi. Mostly play on the PlayStation for anything high fidelity. Now, I only have PlayStation 3, so I'm kind of missing out on the latest generation of some stuff, but when you're an adult, you don't really have the same time for gaming as you do when you're a teenager or in your 20s, so, your priorities shift a little bit, and, what you look forward to changes, mid-20s, I might spend a paycheck on video games and whatnot. Now I've got a car, adult responsibilities, looking at paying for gas and paying bills and, permit